morning, Roxy Soxy.
Good morning, Tam. How are you, my dear?
It's actually the morning. We're shooting this in the morning today.
I know we're actually
just you and I.
Yeah, we actually have changed our little routine today because we usually shoot at night, even though we say it's the morning.
Do. And so now you can see me because I have a light box on me.
I love it. I was missing that gorgeous face of yours.
Thank you. And I actually got my hair did. I was actually freaking out because I think my hair's falling out.
Why? Is it actually
I don't know.
Coming
I think it's falling out.
Why?
Well, it's weird because I don't look when I say falling out, it's not like falling out in clumps where I have bald patches, but I look at when I left Los Angeles to now and I have like a quarter, I feel like I have half the hair and it's not like it's breaking off from color or anything. So I feel like I don't know if it's from stress. I don't know what it's from. And then of course I MD everything and I'm like, what disease do I have today? So I'm like, I have this disease. So I'm like freaking out about it.
See, I personally think it is stress related for you because you also had that rash. And I think that also was like a big, your body is like inflamed after all the COVID stuff and traveling and
Although I do think that rash, which everyone on my Instagram was diagnosing for me.
Oh yes, the internet doctors.
I know. There was thousands of people I think it's this. And I'm like, okay. I actually think it was bed bugs, which is so disgusting. Really? Sean was like, don't say it's bed bugs. And I was like, you know what? I just have to be honest about it. People deal with this stuff, and that's why I hope people listen to this podcast because I'm sure people have had a situation like this, hopefully. But I thought it was maybe a rash or maybe shingles from stress or maybe something else. And then the bites have come back.
Wait, so in the same place?
No. That's what I'm saying. Place. So about a month ago, I had one bite on my hand or one dot on my hand. I was like,
and it was
really
itchy?
Yeah, okay, it was itchy. Okay. So I thought, okay, that's maybe a mosquito or a chigger, which they have in Texas. I was like, I don't know exactly what that is. And then I had more on my legs. And then I had that massive one on my stomach. It's almost like I got bitten 150 times in the one spot. And then obviously I think my body, like you said, was stressed and inflamed. And so it had some kind of reaction. But then it went away completely because I washed everything and we're in an Airbnb. We've been here for 2 months. I washed everything. I put 2 sheets on. So I'm sandwiched between 2 sheets. I'm not actually anywhere near the mattress. But then Sean moved the sheet into Phoenix's room the other day and I was actually sleeping on the mattress. And then I got 2 more bites near my knee.
Oh no. And are they itchy too? It's the same feeling.
And Phoenix has 2.
Oh,
so I'm thinking you're wrong with your diagnosis.
My MD says, yeah. But you know what though? So if she's because she didn't get them before, right?
No, she didn't get them before.
So maybe it is bed bugs, but then don't you have to completely take every piece of furniture,
I know.
Clean every furniture, clean every sheet, every clothing?
Yes. And the problem is I don't give a fuck right now. So I'm just just bite me. What? I just don't care. I've given up on all hope because I broke my toe as well. I think I told you that.
Yes.
So I've just given up life. I just don't even care. If I'm going to be bitten, I'm come on, fucking bring it on. I don't care anymore.
I mean, you just need to cut your losses now, not get injured anymore, not have any more. Cause I think between the COVID and the, all these things, it's just a lot. Wait, by the way, how is Sean doing right now?
It's interesting we're just so grateful that he's okay. And he's one of the good statistics because, you do hear all the time. Well, and even Sean said this to me. He was like, well, 98 or 99% of people, they're fine. So, I'm glad that we're one of those people, but what we don't talk about is the long-term effects. And I think that those statistics are going to be much higher. I would even say they're 40% of people, and this is again, me saying it, not obviously this is not real statistics, but I think that there's about 40% of people who've had COVID who have long-term effects. And Sean is really his legs are in so much pain. He now has memory problems. So he can't remember if he says hey, go get a glass. So forget the word glass, which is what happens with us and, mom brain is kind of that feeling. So he's having short-term memory loss. He has obviously pain in his legs. He's exhausted. And this is a month over a month since he got diagnosed. So people don't talk. I mean, they are talking about it, but people aren't talking in the media about it, and saying like, oh, if you get COVID, there's a high chance that you can have continued issues.
Yeah. So this is definitely not any selective memory, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure he's now going to use that against me. Yeah.
No, but that is scary because I've heard these like long haulers. I mean, it can go on for months and months and months, possibly. I mean, because this is such a new disease that, like, who knows, could be years. I mean, no one knows, right? So it's just kind of like taking it day by day. But it's interesting that, like, the inflammation seems to be still present.
Inflammation, yeah.
And
Because I
that's
think
the
that's what it
key.
is. It's this inflammation virus. And so you don't know
Mhm.
how your body's going to react with something at this scope of inflammation, right? Because
Mhm.
Sean has a friend and he hasn't been able to taste for 6.5 months. And the guy's like 26 years old, he's a
Oh,
young
wow.
guy, no pre-existing condition. I mean, that to me is a reason I never leave my house because I do not want to lose my taste buds. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know it's really scary. That's the thing, as we were saying before, like, you don't know how this disease is going to hit you. You don't know if it's going to be a mild case, if it's going to be a severe case, like, and you just don't know. So I think that's what also makes it scary, for a lot of
Yeah.
people. And I totally
Yeah.
get like why people don't want to leave their house,
I get why people don't want to leave their house. And I also understand, even though it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, but I do understand why people are getting this COVID fatigue.
Mhm.
And it's almost like, even the other day I thought like, oh, I'm just walking around in a park. I won't need my mask. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just wear a mask. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
We don't know exactly really what can happen when it comes to like if I accidentally sneezed or coughed and it could hurt somebody else. I don't know.
Right.
But you do get this exhaustion from it and you crave this normal life. And I'm starting to, it's a year coming up, a year COVID anniversary.
Mhm.
And I'm starting to like get really sad looking at old pictures and like seeing things like I watched the Great Bake Off show and they had 2019 they were shooting and they had this big crowd at the end of the episode and they're all hugging each other and dancing and it's almost like this sad nostalgia about what life used to be like,
Well,
it's
and
like we've
I
become
think
there.
yes, and I think too that it's really going to change the way that people interact with people. Maybe I don't know if it's forever, but like at least even when things do get back to normal, I think people are going to be second guessing like, oh my gosh, is this restaurant clean? Or, is my kid's school clean? Or being in a group of people, is anyone sick here? Like it's going to make you have all these thoughts. And I think people's behaviors will actually change,
Because you were so OCD before the
Yes.
pandemic. You used to
Girl.
like literally spray me down. I remember I had a cough, which I literally was not contagious at that point, but I had a cough for like 3 weeks because coughs last so long. And you were spraying me as I walked into that place. You remember we did that Heather Brooker interview?
Yes.
You were like, I'm not sitting next to that girl. And I was muting every time I was coughing. And you just looked at me like I was like death.
Yes. Oh my God. No. And to be clear, yes, Heather, I wanted to sit next to you. I didn't want to sit next to Tammin because she was sick.
Yes. You definitely didn't want to sit next to me.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
So I don't know how you're going to be with all your cleanliness.
It's freaking me out, Tam. And I'm already so bad about like we go through hand sanitizer at this house like every freaking day, like bottles and bottles and bottles of it. But it really has like changed my it has made it worse because you're like second guessing like, is this clean? Is that clean? Like, can I touch this? Can I touch that? I mean, I do regularly go around with like,
David is clean.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, are you clean?
You're like, David, I don't think you're clean. I'm sorry. I'm not up for it tonight. And he's like, but I'm clean. I swear. I took a shower. And you're like, no.
Well,
he's never getting laid.
never. Because I'm like, wait, are you clean? But it's so bad every time he comes in the house. Like, my daughter has gotten now so accustomed to me asking him if he's washed his hands that she does it to him too. She's like, Daddy, did you wash your hands? Like, so he hears it twice every time he comes back.
He's like, I've washed my whole body. It's okay. And sanitizer.
He's like, help, but yeah, I know it's totally like, I think it's going to change the way that people think about like cleanliness. And as you know, too, our school is reopening. So what are your thoughts on like the opening of school and like should kids be
Look,
going back or?
I mean, I don't think, I mean, it's hard to say this because people can mix your words up.
Mhm.
I don't think that schools, the way that they are putting all the protocols in place, are actually dirty.
Right.
I think that they're probably some of the cleanest places to go.
Mhm.
There's a few things I don't understand. One is the younger kids because they put the younger kids in first, and I understand probably because they need the most help. But I remember when my kid was at school, when Phoenix was at school, when she was little, I was sick all the time.
Mhm.
I mean, those kids have got their fingers up their noses and they're eating each other's boogers and they're
Yeah.
snotting on each other. I don't understand how they're not getting sick. That's one thing I don't understand. The reason I think that we're having issues with schools reopening is because I think that the parents are doing things behind the school's doors and not staying in certain pods and seeing too many people. And I think that's what's happening and why the cases continue to go up and why schools then have to shut down. I mean, I might be wrong, but it seems like schools are a clean place to be. And I think that we need to figure out a way to open schools because it's really detrimental on our kids' education and their mental health. But see, I'm not in California and we aren't going back yet, but I wouldn't be comfortable yet putting Phoenix in school.
Okay, so you're kind of like you still wouldn't do it even if you could.
No.
See, this is where my my whole thing is because I feel like, for a while, like towards the end of, last year, like my daughter was fine. Like we were doing the homeschool thing, the Zoom, like, and even at the beginning of like, I'd say the fall of this year, things were okay. But recently, I'd say in the last 1 to 2 months, she's just been more sad about not being with her friends and not being in school. And I straight up asked her because I wanted to make sure first that it would be okay with her. I asked her, I go, do you want to go back to school? And she just resoundingly said, yes, mommy. Like, I want to be back and I want to do that. So for me, it's like, I'm trying to balance like
it's a risk. Yeah. It's a risk management.
risk management with like mental health, because, at this age too, the ages of like 6 and 7, so much of it is socialization, and being around other kids and learning how to interact and conflict resolve. And it's like through the Zoom, they're not getting that, it's like, it's different, you're not like in a room playing with toys and somebody takes a toy and then you have to figure out what, it's like all those kind of situations that they're missing out on. So I think for us, that's why we're going to do it. And we're going to send her back to school and see how it goes. I mean, we always have the option to, pull her back again and hopefully there won't be any breakouts. I'm just hoping that people, stay within their pods and like, are safe outside of school.
Yeah.
That will make
I do think that it's much harder for the kids who are single kids. And I know our school, like all my friends' all my friends have one child. Most of them.
Yeah, all your friends, pretty much, right?
Pretty much all my friends have one. They're like, I've done this once and I'm done. I don't need to do this again. I got it. Yeah. Phoenix and Lennon are 5 years different, but they play all the time. I mean, they're like doing sensory boxes this morning, and they were doing rock hunting, and they watch TV together. And I'm sure that their relationship will be really close because of this. But I do feel like even though she's younger, she is getting like a friend in a way, that isn't an adult. But yeah, I've noticed that Phoenix is getting more aggressive, probably because of too much technology, and technology at some point is not good for your dopamine levels. And I'm sure she's constantly feeling like she has to be switched on, and the screen is not that healthy for you.
No.
So I feel like, yeah, she is having some issues, and I just don't know what to do, because I don't know if leaving where we are in Austin right now when we're all set up and happy and going back just for school. And then what if school shuts down in 2 weeks and then we're kind of like up in the air, and our intention wasn't to be roadies this whole time, but I feel less stressed here than I do in California.
You do? You feel less stressed in Texas?
Definitely.
Just like day-to-day living wise? Like
day-to-day living, my anxiety has gone down astronomically. My work when it comes to acting has gone up because I'm not so, being in a place is constantly about this business in Hollywood and being the best and being the most successful and having the most money. Like, I don't feel that pressure. And there is something about California, which is amazing. It's like the dreamers move there and I love it. But there is like a pretense that, like, not with my friends there, I've met some amazing people, but there's like a pretentious thing there. It's kind of like, well, what do you do? And like, where do your kids go to school and what car do you drive? And like, I haven't thought about the car I've driven once since I've left LA.
See, there's something really
not
nice
even
about
one
that.
time.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't even feel, because we have this amazing Chrysler, I told you, like that, the minivan, and we love it so much. And it's got like the TVs in the back, and and I'm so proud of that car, and it's got all these amazing features. And the thing is, in California, it's kind of like, well, you have to have the Bentley, or you have to have, the Range Rover. And like, I'm just proud of what we have,
Yeah. Yeah. There is something a little more like, you're more at ease there almost, it's like, it's not so like status, this, like, and I mean, I do see that. I do see that, but man, it is hard to leave California because it is so pretty, and there is the beach, and like there is like the desert and the mountains and all that stuff. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And Texas is my home state also. So I mean, I miss the people in Texas because there is something so genuine. I mean,
It's like a small town feel, even though it's kind of in a big city. It just feels like, we walked yesterday and everyone came out and said hi.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah, people have time for you there.
They have, that's so true. They have time for you.
They have time for you, and they, are genuinely like curious about how your day's going. And when they ask, it's like they mean it. Whereas here, it's like so much of it is like me. Like, what am I doing? What do I need to do to get further? And this and that. So I mean, I can see the value in staying in Texas too. Are you guys like have you made a decision? Or
no, I mean, I never thought I'd leave California. I thought it would be Australia if I did. I thought it would be California or Australia.
Okay.
I didn't even think there was another option. I think it's just because I moved out there when I was 22 years old, and I just thought this is where Hollywood is, Now Hollywood is everywhere. You can put yourself on tape and send in an audition. Everything is self-taped. It's not like I had 3 meetings last week all on Zoom. So it's like I didn't have to be in California. But the minute I would have to be there for my career and for Sean's career, then we would absolutely move back. It just doesn't feel like it's necessary right now. And look, I do love California, but there's something about me. I don't like, because I was bullied so much as a kid, I don't like to feel like I'm always putting up my hand being like, hey, I'm here. Like, look at me. I'm here too,
Right.
And I feel a little bit in California, as much as it's beautiful, I feel like I'm always like, oh, I'm at the party. Like I've worked before, I can act. You're not in this business, and maybe it's different, but those parties to me are just, I don't love them. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is part of the game. You have to, when you're out here, like, going to these events and like getting your face out there. And it's like, that is a whole thing in and of itself, but like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why.
To what mental detriment?
Yes. Yeah. But it's
like
also It's also nice to, I think, take yourself out of things too, because then people miss you in a way. You know what I mean? Like when you go away, like there's something to kind of like miss. So maybe that even works out and helps in the long run, And
I find it hard, I probably have 6 amazing friends in my life. 6 friends that like, I always have my glass of wine on Friday. And if you get a call from me, you're one of my friends.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And I call like 6 of them, right? And they all don't pick up. So it's so fucking annoying. I even called Jamie the other day, and she was like, she didn't pick up. No, she didn't. And I'm like, that's why I'm never calling you again. There's about 6 people. 2 are in Australia. One's in New York. One's in San Francisco. And I have a couple in, LA. And that's really it. Like, I didn't feel like in California that I had all these friends. I didn't really feel like I fit in. And maybe that's my own problem. Maybe that's because I felt lesser than. And so I didn't want to go out and meet people, or I don't know what it was, but I don't think I had the friendship group that someone of 15 years in a certain place would have.
Yeah, I could see that. Plus, when you moved out there, it was like more a work thing, like more for work, where
Mhm.
it's like, trying to forge those relationships probably is a little bit trickier. I mean, I think for me, because I came out here, I should say, to go to college, it was easier because there was no like pretense there in that way. It was
Mhm.
like just a bunch of 18-year-olds, like getting together, making friendships and going to school. So I think it was maybe a little different in that way.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's true. But LA in general is a hard place to be friends with people. I mean, it's very cliquey and people keep to
Mhm.
themselves and like, so I get it. I mean, it's tricky. It's a hard place.
So we don't know exactly what we're doing.
Mhm.
If we had done this in any other time period, I'd be
Mhm.
like, guys, get your shit together. But I'm loving the fact that we don't really have any decisions because the world is changing so fast.
Yeah.
Like someone said, well, would you go back to Australia? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this lasts for a couple more years. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If this is over tomorrow, would we go back to California? Maybe. If I got a job at Warner Brothers, would I go back to California? Maybe. The
Mhm.
world is changing so fast and it's so different right now that I think being able to use this as like an adventure really and
Yeah.
and just kind of seeing, I do know that we are less stressed here, and I do know
Mhm.
that our relationship is good and the kids relationship with us is better
Mhm.
because the stress has gone down.
Speaking of adventures, California opened up this weekend and I
I
have yet
know.
to adventure out. But
Oh, you haven't got. That's why I was like, what are you doing on the weekend then?
yeah,
Because I'm like, sometimes I want to do podcasts on the weekend, but only if LA is shut down.
right. Now it's back open, so we can't do it. No,
You can't do it on the weekends.
no. No, but it's so funny because it just opened up this past weekend. So we'll see how it goes. I think the weather was kind of bad this weekend. So probably
Mhm.
a lot of people didn't go out, but I don't know. I'm still trying to like test it out and see if I want to do because it's just outdoor dining,
Right.
50% capacity. And then I think hair salons and like personal services are
Yeah.
open.
I'm just confused why. I guess we have to open up because of small businesses. I think that's the whole
Hmm.
point. But
Hmm.
why are we opening up when we shut down when things were like a tenth of what they are now? We're
So
opening up when we were shut down when it wasn't even bad at all.
yeah, I think okay, this is my theory. I don't know if it's true, but I was just thinking, I'm wondering if the shutdown that happened, particularly in California and Los Angeles,
Mhm.
when we shut down, so it took away, all the outside dining and like places to kind of go, kind of sit outside. So what I'm wondering is, with the spike, did it happen because people would then congregate inside each other's houses, like, where it's like a little more unsafe as far as just like germs go and like spreading,
Mhm.
virus. So they were going to each other's houses in groups versus like maybe sitting outside where it could have been maybe a little less risky. I don't know. Cause I'm
Mhm.
still trying to figure out like, because I think California is one of the few states that actually did like a full shutdown again, versus
Mhm.
like where you are in Texas
I
that
don't think they
hasn't.
ever shut down here.
No, I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I think the capacity is maybe a little more restricted, but I don't think yeah, they haven't shut down,
They're on stage 5 and it's the restaurants are packed.
And what are the numbers there? Are they similar to
I think they're
California?
like 600 a day.
Okay. In
So
Austin.
the 600 a day, and I think Austin, don't quote me on it, but I think Austin is 4 times less than California. So you
Okay.
guys should not be having the numbers you're having. You're having like 10 times the numbers that we're having.
So that's what I'm wondering. That's why I wonder if the shutdown that just recently happened just kind of made people go inside houses. I think too the holiday travel,
Mhm.
added to some of it because I know a lot of people traveled over the holidays. But yeah, it's I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Well, talking about what you do in quarantine, can you run me past what Clubhouse is?
Oh yeah.
Because
It's
everyone's inviting
the
me, which made me feel so good because now I know that you only get like 1 or 2 invitations. But I was like, why are people inviting me to this stupid thing called Clubhouse? I don't go to clubbing. Um,
well,
New thing.
You can treat it as your new club because
okay.
you go onto this thing, and I just am like figuring it out kind of too. Like I'm new on it as well, which of course I like invited you like right away. I was like, Tammin, you need to get on this.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that who's your other person that you invited?
It was you, Tracy, just you and Tracy and Sasha, my friend Sasha.
Did you get 3 invites?
Yeah.
I only got 2.
Oh, girl, you need to get on there then and get your invites up.
Oh, so if someone joins on that you request, you get more invites.
Yes. So if they join back, exactly, then you get more invites. And then if it's like, good connected people, like that's even better. So I think like it's just like a big sort of like networking pod, but it's really kind of cool because like you jump in and out of these panels. So like, for example, last night I went on a panel that Jordan Sparks like was talking about like some new music that she had coming out, and it was like only 15 people. So people were like asking her questions. Yes, because it's still a relatively small group in general who's on it because it's still kind of in the beta stage. So we're technically early adapters at this point. So it's like you really get access to some of these like really great people who are on it. Like it's like a lot of VC people like Ashton Kutcher's on it. Alexis Ohanian, who is Serena Williams' husband, who founded Reddit. Like, so you get access to like all these great people, plus within your own network, your networking. I can only imagine that it helps business, like a lot. But
do people make any money from it? Like, is there any monetary gain for people?
So there is like a monetize. I was just actually looking at a panel. It was like how to monetize. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's like how to monetize, Clubhouse. And I think once you get like a certain number of people in your, for your audience, that definitely is a possibility. And it also directs people back to your social media because you put your like Instagram handle on there, you put your Twitter handle. So it's good to like kind of keep it all going. In fact, we should do like a live podcast for one of
How do you get your own room? Anyone can start a room?
Yeah, anyone can start a room.
This sounds very sexy.
I know. Well,
get a room. Anyone can get a room. There's some sexy stuff in there?
Yes. No, there are some late night conversations that go on that are like, oh yeah. And some of them have like rules. Like you have to agree to the rules before you go into these rooms.
And there's no video, only audio.
Only audio. So it's kind of perfect because you don't have to get ready.
It was interesting because my husband was talking to me, and I was listening to a conversation about money yesterday, about like growing wealth. And he like walked in. I was like, shh, they can hear you. Cause I didn't even know if like, can they hear what we're talking about? Like, I didn't know if you enter and you're on mute. Like it's actually not a confusing platform. Like you said that you want to walk me through it. And the only thing that's confusing is like, how do I they kind of match you with things that they think you like, but I sometimes want to find things that I think I want. And then also, why do people follow you? Because it says like you've got this many people who are like, it's kind of like Instagram, right? Who are your followers and who you follow. Is it like Facebook, like you're following friends and family, or you can get like a follow list of like millions?
Yes, you can get like a follow list of millions. And the more people you follow, that actually helps you because you are then open to their circles and their topics. So let's say you wanted to learn more about, I don't know, beauty, let's just say. So you would go to like a big beauty influencer, follow a beauty influencer, and then you'd be open up to their topics and like their circles and their panels. And so it all works out. Like you sort of put yourself in like the genre that you want, like around like the people you want. So it's good to like follow people that you are interested in.
So if you and I started a room, like wow,
yeah,
if you and I started a room, then people just decide to join.
Yeah. Well, you can make a closed room if you want, or you can keep it open. So you can.
What would we talk about, Roxy?
Oh my God, we should do like a podcast. It'd be amazing.
What should we talk about?
We can talk about everything.
We should talk about your sex life. Are you having sex, Roxy? When's the last time you had sex for reals?
Oh my God, the last time. It's been a minute.
Roxy, no, that is not good. That's not good.
It's not good, but
it's not good. It's been 4 weeks for me because my husband had COVID.
Oh, so you guys have not yet?
No, we did. Because because me.
Yeah, I know. Tell me everything.
Well, he's had COVID for he hasn't, but he was sick a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So we did like a month after. he had COVID.
How was
just
it like the first time going back?
Oh my
like,
gosh. I don't even know if I'm going to have to cut this out. This is so unsexy. I cried the whole time, which is so not sexy. Because the whole time I was just kept saying like, I just thought you were going to die and I love you so much. And I'm like, the poor guy is like, this is not attractive at all. The whole time I was crying. So that, and I even said the other day, I was like, it probably wasn't the best experience for us because it was kind of emotional. But I did like, there was moments where I thought I was going to lose him. So just even sex to me is like intimacy and being with someone you love. And I know it's different for different people, but for me, having that experience was really emotional for me because I was like, I can't believe like you're here.
Yeah.
Like actually here, you know?
Had you had some wine before?
I don't think so. Oh, no, I think I did, which I don't actually like to have sex after drinking. I know people think it's great. It's actually so, I think that you lose a lot of sensation? Your own feeling. Yeah. I actually way prefer after exercising than I would with alcohol. People think that they drink and they feel less inhibited. So I get that. So maybe it helps you mentally, but physically it dulls everything.
But wait, why after exercise?
Exercise increases blood flow and it increases like you're more sensitive to things. So if you exercise and go home and shower and have sex, it's incredible.
Or not. I mean, you don't have to shower.
Or not, Roxy. Gross. Why aren't you having sex? That's something else you need to figure out.
Yes, I know. You know what? I think it's like, again, like just after like sort of the turn of the new year, my husband started getting really stressed again with work stuff because it's starting to pick up again. So it's like he sort of had that like nice little rest period like during the holidays. But then now when he gets stressed, he gets like not into sex at all. Like he's just frazzled, like all this
stuff. I think that's most men.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like he just, I don't know. And it just hasn't felt, again, like because we're in the same sort of Groundhog Day quarantine situation, it just has not felt sexy to me. It's hard for me to feel like, when we're running around wearing sweats and like not, like no makeup and like, it just doesn't feel like, and there's no distance between us too.
You're like, why do I want you on top of me when you're literally on top of me all the time?
All the time. So it's like, there's no like absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's like, at least when he's at work, like during the day and then I'm working, like, it's like, we have something to come back to,
That's true. See, I realized that I started my therapies. Remember my
how did the CVS therapy go? Tell me.
I think it was worse the second time. I think it went down to like a, Super 8 kind of therapy. But at least I'm doing something. And I think what therapy does for me is just to make me aware. I think that the only way to change is to be aware of your issues because a lot of things are subconscious. Like, for example, I didn't even know this, but I talked about eating disorders recently on my Instagram, and I haven't had an eating disorder for a long time, right? Well, also I think we all have distorted eating. I think we all have distorted. Well, that's not true. I'm a blanketed statement. I think a lot of women have distorted eating.
Like disordered eating,
but I didn't realize that every time I eat, I get anxious. Disordered eating. Yeah, I think we all have disordered eating. But I think every time I eat, I get anxious, and I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't think, oh, I just ate. That's why I'm anxious. I just felt anxious. Right. And now because I'm in therapy, I'm like, when I feel anxious, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's a subconscious mind that's going on that's saying something. Right. And I have to sit with myself and go, oh, I didn't even know that I would get anxious after eating. But the reason I get anxious after eating is because I had an eating disorder a long time ago. And it's still in my
psyche, kind of.
Yeah, it's in my psyche and it's in my neurotransmitters, and it's still there. It's dead, like meaning it's dormant. But I'm sure all that stuff can come up again. Yeah. And I didn't even know that consciously, or like when I eat, it's probably subconscious. I'm like, oh, did I eat something that's good for me? Is it healthy? Is it going to make me feel good? Is it going to make me feel tired? Am I going to feel weird when I eat it? Am I going to have an allergy? Am I going to, there's so many things that are probably going on subconsciously with my neurotransmitters going from A to B that I didn't even know until you go to therapy and go, oh.
So you think that you were still having do you think you were still having like kind of like issues as far as like actually not eating things and all that?
No, I don't think it's as easy as saying I eat and I'm anxious because I don't want to get overweight.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. I think it's just my brain is so used to thinking food could be the enemy or
Uh-huh.
food could make me feel a certain way that isn't great.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's just a dormant thing that was in me from 20 years ago, just like stuff with you. I'm sure there's a
Mhm.
vulnerability thing that you have and
Right.
it's dormant. So when you get anxious or stressed or angry is not a primary emotion. Anger comes from hurt or pain. So when
Mhm.
you get angry at David, that is
Mhm.
something you need to be aware of and go, why am I angry right now?
Ooh, because I don't like to be vulnerable.
But you're angry because he's making you feel a certain way, which is
Right.
pain or
Right.
hurt
Right.
or something.
Right. And I don't feel protected, you know? It's like you
Yeah,
don't
you don't feel
feel like
safe.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, Dr. Tammin, that's true.
But so many
We
people
need
don't want to, and this is what that doctor was saying. So many
yeah.
people just go, "Oh, fuck it. Like I can just live my life like this." And you can for a certain amount of time
Mhm.
until the rubber meets the road and until all the things like if you go through a bad period or if I go through a bad period, all
Mhm.
that stuff gets so much worse because
Mhm.
you haven't dealt with it when you weren't going through a bad period.
Okay, so I might need this CVS therapist person.
It's like so not a selling point.
I
He's like, she, by the way, guys, she's not a CVS person. It's just an app that helps you do therapy, which is easy. I think it's $200 a month, which is
uh,
actually pretty good. It's no insurance. $200 a month, so it's
okay.
$50 each a session, which is expensive, but it's not expensive when therapists in California are like $250 a session.
Right. So how long are the sessions? Like an hour?
An hour. Yeah, an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good,
Yeah, $50 a session is good.
And they don't take insurance, you said?
I think you can submit it to insurance.
Okay.
But
Okay.
every time I've gone to a therapist through insurance, it's like waste of my time.
Yes. Yeah. Because then they're like, yeah, we're not going to cover it.
Yeah. But it's not even that. They don't even the people who do cover it, the
Mm.
therapists aren't that good, I feel.
Oh, yeah. Because you have to go to like the certain therapists that are covered.
Only like
And
a
then,
couple.
yeah. 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 That's such a pain. Yeah. That's a major pain. But nonetheless, it's always good to talk about, right?
It's always good to talk about. I don't know. I think therapy is the only way to like learn about yourself and then be a
Right.
better human being.
Yeah, it's true. You have to. And I mean, you have to, the more you talk about it, I would imagine that I mean, it can only help, you know? The more you get it out, it's cathartic, you know?
Because what you don't want to do is get it out on other people.
Yes, which is,
Because when you get it out on other people, those scars can get deeper and those people can sometimes never forgive you and you can ruin relationships. I know I've been close to ruining relationships because of my own shit.
yeah, you think?
Yeah, like at some point when I get really stressed or
Mm,
maybe a couple years ago when we had Lennon,
mhm.
I was like I wasn't nice to my husband because I was overwhelmed with postpartum and there's this narrative that we say for women, well, you're in postpartum, you can kind of do whatever you want, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But I think the narrative should be like, let's get you help. Let's get your body feeling better. Let's get you
Mhm.
support so you're not screaming at people.
Yeah. I
That
think
should be
that
the narrative.
yeah, that's true because there's no real system for that. Even
No,
now,
no.
you know? I mean, and I feel like you're right. We all go through that period, especially those first few weeks, you know, or first couple months. It's like you just don't know which end is up. And it is your hormones a lot of the time, but it's like, yeah, you need that support to kind of figure out what is particularly as a first time mom, like not
Mhm.
really knowing what the hell is going on, you know?
And we don't, my second baby, Lennon, I decided to have all the help I could possibly have.
See?
And it was a completely different experience. It was magical. My
Hmm.
first was horrible. It was so
Horrible.
horrible. I've got such PTSD. Although my second baby almost healed my first
Hmm.
experience because
Hmm.
my first experience was so bad
Yeah.
that now I'm like, oh, I can see how this postpartum can be a magical phase, but not without help and education. And the thing is, like, that stuff's expensive. It's like just paying for
Yeah.
someone to help me learn how to breastfeed costs a fortune, and
Yeah.
buying the right vitamins for postpartum costs a fortune, and getting meals costs a fortune. And it should be accessible to everyone so that they're not feeling like that.
Yeah, we definitely need changes. I know in this country, to support new moms like that, because right now there's not a lot. And I feel like a lot of times it's just paying out of pocket, and it is so expensive. Like, so what do moms do that are trying to budget and maybe even have other kids that are trying to raise and, and working and everything else? It's like something needs to be done for these moms,
I don't know. I think just human rights, like it should just be, it's just like vitamins should just be accessible. Like postpartum vitamins should just be accessible. Once you go home, the hospital should give you 20 packs of postpartum, which is like omegas for your brain and your, magnesium for your sleep and D vitamins for depression and probiotics for your stomach after you've gone through hell giving birth. Like, this stuff is so expensive, and it sounds silly to go vitamins, but they're so expensive. I know that buying just COVID vitamins for Sean costs us a fortune.
Oh yeah.
Stuff should just like go with you home. It should be much easier.
What do they do in Australia when women, after they give birth? Is there like a time period that?
Look, I know that it's a huge difference. I don't want to say it wrong, but I do think it's 6 months paid leave. I think.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's a year. I'm not sure, but I think it's 6 months to a year. And they get, someone comes over, I think, and teaches you how to breastfeed and helps you with the baby all free.
I mean, it's like night and day,
It is like night and day.
Oh, sounds like a dream. Should we all
watching anything? Australia? I know you should. Are you watching anything good on TV to make you like feel better about the situation we're in?
So we just I don't know if it made me feel better about the situation, but we just watched that movie called Little Things. Little Things.
Same last night.
Yeah, we watched it Saturday. What'd you
last think? Night? I thought it was a little contrived. I thought that I don't want to give it away. I thought that the Remy Malek character. There should have been more, I don't want to give the movie away. There should have been more scenes that showed that he was kind of not mentally okay.
Right.
I think for him to have made some of the decisions he made, he didn't seem like he was that tortured.
Right. I
feel like he should have been more tortured so that, and I don't want to give this away, but it's like, so how do I say this without giving it away? So when he decided to go on a drive, if you've watched it, you'll understand. When he decided to go on that drive, it would have made more sense, because there's no way, if you weren't that tortured, that you would have gone on that drive. Right. There's no way.
That's the thing.
And also you wouldn't have like started doing the thing with the shovel thing. Trying not to give it away. And not be looking at your protection around you. Like, you wouldn't be doing that as somebody who's a cop or a detective, unless you were so tortured that you couldn't see straight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was weird. As soon as the drive happened and then everything going forward, it became a little confusing as to like, first, why would he take that drive? And then and then everything that happened after. So I agree with that. I will say Jared Leto was very creepy in the film.
He's always creepy.
Yeah, he can do a villain so well, can't he? He's just like,
he was having fun. That's the best part of watching that movie.
Yeah. He is really a really good actor. I mean, he well deserved, the praise and everything that he's gotten, but he did well in that role. Cause you're right. I think he really enjoyed it. It came through,
And it's like 3 Oscar winners in one movie.
Yeah. It's a big cast. I mean, it's a really big cast. What did you think about Denzel?
I mean, Denzel's Denzel. I said to Sean, like, Denzel could read the phone book and he'd be amazing. There's just something about him that is just special. I don't know if he's, and tell me if I'm wrong, has he done like real characters, or is he kind of a version of this with different circumstances?
I think he's done some of both. I mean, he definitely does, obviously, as we know, like the leading man a lot, like, but he does do a lot of character stuff too. And I think the more, I mean, he's great as the leading man, but then the more he also goes away from that and does like these kind of like, he's so good, right?
He's so great. It was just so nice. Like, we drank wine and ate takeout, and I think it's just the little things, quote unquote. It's the little things in life right now, especially during COVID, that didn't make one happy. And so I just think everyone should just keep doing those little things.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, those are the manageable things that you can do, right? It's like, what you're saying, get the takeout or drink some wine or, take a nap in the middle of the day or, get a massage or
get a coffee, just
get a
enjoy.
coffee, enjoy little things, watch a TV program with your kid,
Yeah. Sean said to me the other day, it was like, I said, we're not going to get takeout again. He said, Tammin, it's the only thing we have to look forward to right now. He's like, get the takeaway. It's the only thing we have.
That's the only thing.
And I was like, okay, I'll get the takeaway. Probably DoorDash is like, I'm like, I don't want to spend any more money on DoorDash. But he's like, that's the only thing that we have pleasure from right now. So I was like, okay.
Speaking of, all those companies are making, a killing.
Yeah. I thought about it the other day. I thought there's so many companies that are making so much money and then so many companies that are making nothing. Like all the clubs. Think about the clubs.
Oh, I know.
If you're a club owner, your clubs haven't been open in a year.
I know. Well, I think maybe in some parts of the country, there's some, I don't know, clubs open. But other than that, right. It's like these people are just suffering, like business wise, and like just with their livelihoods and even like trying to put food on the table,
Candle manufacturers, because no one's buying candles to blow them out. I promise you. No one is breathing on anything. So if you have any of those type things, yeah.
I know. It's like, don't hold it in. I know no kids aren't getting like candles on their birthday cakes anymore, It's a different world. It's a different world.
Well, it's nice to chat to you, Roxy Soxy.
I know. It's so good to see you.
I don't even think we're doing a podcast sometimes. I'm just like, oh, I get to chat to Roxy for an hour. Bye, Sean.
It's like our escape.
Yeah, I'm like, take the kids. We're recording a podcast. Wink, wink.
Totally.
Oh, wait, before I want to go, I wanted to say this thing because I wanted to see if you suffer from this too. But I had all these auditions this weekend and I was so nervous to do them.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that when things really matter to you, like I almost get paralyzed to like do them. Does that happen to you?
Yeah. So like you get like so nervous and like worked up about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was 22 pages, one of the auditions, and I couldn't sleep the night before. And like, I was all sweaty that day. It was so silly because it's like it's a self-tape.
Right.
But I felt so overwhelmed to do it. And then I did it and I feel like it was great. But like, why all the drama? You know what I mean? Like why all the stuff before it?
I think it's because you care, because I do get the same thing too. Like if I've had like for hosting or whatever, like a big audition or like a meeting with somebody that's like, I won't sleep the night before, and you get like sweaty and sort of butterflies and you get really worked up. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think it shows that you care,
I just hate it. I hate it because it makes me aggressive and like because I'm so freaked. I think it's also it's also when when you know what you're capable of and you feel like maybe you won't get there, you feel like you failed. Maybe that's what it is.
But it's also removing that like mental block and taking it out, right? And I think like that could make things a lot easier, but I definitely have a problem doing it myself too. It's like, I think in everybody, like even when I look at David, or like other friends, like the way that I think everybody has that to some degree, if it's something you really, really care about and it's like, you want to make a great impression, you want to do well. I think it's a natural response,
I just wish I could be more like my husband gets really excited by things. And like when he's having a phone call or a meeting, he gets so pumped about it. And I think people can tell in the room, and that's why people, want to make these movies. And I just wish I could channel those nerves into something else.
So he doesn't get nervous. He doesn't get.
He never gets nervous about anything.
Oh wow!
I mean, he has other problems. But
does he have a good prescription to Xanax?
Yeah, no. I wish. No, he just doesn't get nervous about things. So maybe it's a good match.
That is a good match. It's like the yin and the yang,
Yeah. I mean, he gets nervous about things that like I don't get nervous about. Like if we don't have food in the house for the kids. I'm like, they'll eat a frozen pizza. He's like, we don't have enough like pasta sauce. I'm like, okay, then just give him an avocado and call it a day.
See, the yin and the yang.
I'm just like, whatever. He went out to Trader Joe's this morning because he's like, we have no food. I'm like, it's okay. That's why you order it.
Yes. You're like, it's a simple phone call, Yeah.
Order Amazon Prime and it's here by the end of the day.
Done and done. Okay.
Done and done.
Oh, girl.
Well, have a good rest of your week, Rox.
Oh, thanks, honey. You too. Same place, same time next week.
Same place, same time.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll just pretend I'm doing a podcast tomorrow and tell my husband that we're banking them.
Like you have to leave with the kids for at least 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a long podcast with a really important guest that is an expert. Expert in what? Just in things.
Life expertise.
That's why like life coaches, I'm always like, what are they expert in? They're an expert in life. I'm like, okay.
Okay, if you say so.
Okay. Because we all know what the fuck we're doing.
Right.
We're just trying to survive.
Yeah. Trying to wing it day by day, hour by hour. We are winging it, girl.
Well, where can people find us, Roxy?
Oh, well, you can find us on Women on Top Official on Instagram and
Women on Top Podcast on Facebook.
Woo! And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and comment.
Oh, yeah. This is the Woman on Top song for you. It would be the worst. Maybe we'll do the Clubhouse. Let's do a Clubhouse.
Yes. Show. Oh my God. Yeah. Come find us on Clubhouse because we are there. And Tammin, there's no social anxiety going to the Clubhouse.
Oh no, I will be anxious. Don't worry. I'll be anxious on my bed, but I'll still be anxious. Don't worry.
I love it.
Zoom hasn't made it go away. It's just made it like, it just makes me think like if I get really stressed, I'm like, I always tell myself, well, I could just like end it and be like, there was a problem with, because you can't do that in person. I'll just be like, there's a problem with the internet. Yeah, I'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'll have to call you back tomorrow. This is the things that people think of.
Right? The escape hatch.
Yes, I'm always excited about that.
Yes, it's good times. Don't worry, we'll ply you with wine first. It'll be great.
Okay, good. And well, that's it, guys. And I am Tammin Roxy.
And I am Roxy Manning.
And we are Women on Top.